Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a great week. We've had some great setups over the week after some time without some great setups due to this nature of the market that we were in over the last couple of weeks. That usually happens between May and June. But we are now back trending, and we've also had the catalyst with the NFP on Friday that has moved the market. So we've got some good trade setups. Right. If you would like to contact us, check out our contact details on our channel, that is Trading Waves. You can go to any of the videos under the description of the video. You will find our contact details. On our contact details, you'll also find, let's just switch this off here. You will also find the link to our website. That is where you can purchase your course. To remember that our 10-day course starts tomorrow, and we've got a special that ends on Wednesday on the full course. You can check it out on the website. There's only 3 days left for that, but the course itself starts tomorrow. That is a live course for 10 days. We're going to be running from tomorrow until next week, Friday. That is the schedule of the course. So for any inquiries, you can make them via the global chat on the website. This is the global chat. That is where you can make your inquiries regarding anything you want to know about our services. All right, so that is that. Also follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, as well as our Telegram channel to get updates on the charts. So these charts that we post up there, we post sometimes we post ideas. You can also follow us on TradingView. So check us out there. Right, so let's get started. I'm going to start with the charts for before and after. So that is the trade recaps of the past 2 weeks. I'm going to start from the week of the 27th of June throughout to last week up until today. All right, so last week we've already gone through these charts. You will see the updates as we go on. Let's start with the Euro-Yen. So let's have a look here at Euro-Yen and the rest of the charts. So Euro-Yen, let me make this full screen so it can be bigger, so you can see it clearly. So this is Euro-Yen. Let me just organize my screen here so I don't have to go back and forth. Right, Euro-Yen, you may not see the date clearly. That was June 19th, expecting a move to the upside. We are currently in this move here, pulling back like this. We're going to go to it on detail shortly. So let's go quickly through all the trade recaps. So this was 2 weeks ago, and then we're going to come through to the latest week. So this was Euro. The focus was for this to reverse exactly there. We've gotten up there. That is Euro-Yen. Chief Yen correlated with the Euro. We expected it to reverse exactly there. It has made a move to that level. Chief Yen, that is how it has moved. Right, AUD Yen, we've already made a move to around this level. Let's play that. So these are charts that are shared with members before the moves happen. EURJPY, we expected a move down here to around this blue box area and a bounce. Those two moves have already happened. There we go. So the move to the downside, as you can see, we expected the move to the blue box and a push to the upside. Now the question is, will we go out to the upside? The structure looks to have already changed, but let's see when we start with the market analysis, how this is going to play out. Pound Chief, an interesting one. I'm going to run quickly through Pound Chief because we've got it for the latest week as well. So this was 2 weeks ago where we showed that we wanted Pound Chief to come and trade around the blue box area and make a move to the downside. It has already given 2 entries, one here. We also had a pullback here and a move to the downside. You'll see as I get to it on the latest week. This is how it has played out. So this is where we were last week. This week we went and made a corrective structure like this. We took another trade live in our trading room. We've got trading rooms Mondays to Fridays at 8 a.m. GMT before the start of the London time. And that is when all our 1 hour charts are updated. Pound CAD was also last week. We expected it to go to the blue box and make a move to the downside. You'll see the update for this week as well. That is Pound CAD. Went up to the blue box, and as you can see here, went up and came down as expected. We are now on a downtrend. Gave another entry. Oil from back in May. On the 21st, we had a blue box set up here as follows. This was our blue box set up on oil, where we expected oil to go all the way to the upside, Currently here we are around 76 on oil. It is making a push to the upside. We still expect more upside on oil. This is the chart on oil. All right, so Dow Jones Industrial, we have expected this structure 1, 2, 3. Look how accurate this is. Look at the structure. When you understand the structure and when you've got the indicator, it becomes this easy. This is Elliott wave theory that we use here combined with our special indicator. Most people can forecast the market, but whenever you have more than one alternative, that's when most people lose money. And also just to identify the structure with the naked eye without an indicator, you will not necessarily make money, or you will not always get the structure right or make money out of the wave theory. This is pound yen. We expected a bounce from here. We've got the bounce, but we don't expect it to go all the way to the upside. That is the bounce. We are looking like we are correcting here, but the indicator is not supporting the move to the upside as yet, but we've got our trade form here. We're going to do an update shortly. That is pound yen, EURCAD. Look how amazing EURCAD is. We're expecting a bounce here and a move to the downside. How does it play out? As expected, it makes a bounce, makes a move to the downside. Now we are here. We are now in this week. Are we going to get the bounce here? Very likely that we do get that bounce on EURCAD. We'll do an update shortly. Pound New Zealand, another one. Beautiful chart. Pull back here in 3, expecting downside. Look at that structure. Beautiful 3-wave pullback here. Almost textbook into the blue box and a move to the downside. This is where we are currently. We're expecting continuation to the downside. Right, so that is pound New Zealand. Pound CAD, as you've seen earlier, I did say that we are going to look at it in this week as well. So as it was continuing to the downside, we have made a move to the upside. We've got another entry here in the last week, and we are coming to the downside. We are currently here. We want to see if we're going to get a bounce here on pound CAD as well. Let's have a look. So how many moves there? So the first move was to get to the blue box. We've come down. We've got another textbook set up here for entry to the downside in the last week as it is coming down here. This is how we forecast the market. That is pound CAD, pound CHF. Again, let's go through pound CHF. So you'll see that we've got upside. We've got an entry here. This is the one that we took live in the trading room. It confirmed while we were live in the trading room. Then we took that one right in the trading room at this level. That was our blue box here for a new entry. That was the bigger corrective structure on pound CHF. All right, this is platinum. Let's have a look here. So this is platinum. We expected a bounce from the blue box. It has now made a move like this. So this is platinum bouncing from the blue box. Where do we expect the move to go? This corrective structure here is a bit too deep, but we'll do an update here to show what we expect the next move to be on platinum. Brent crude, we've already seen this, the latest one here. We are around 76 area. S&P 500, from that pullback, we expected a move to the upside. This is just last week alone. As you've seen in the last week, the S&P 500 has been trending, and that is how this has made a move from here. We are now currently around these levels on the S&P 500. Dow Jones Industrial, beautiful structure, move down and then upside. Let's have a look here. That is where we are. We are now currently here. Last week we said that if this breaks to the upside here, we're going to get a trade to the upside. That is the Dow Jones Industrial. And those are the setups for the last week, only just today, a few. We update about 52 charts on a daily basis. For 1 hour charts updated every day before the start of the London session. All right, so that is how we looked at the market in the last week. So if you've not already subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And also you can drop your comment and we will look at your views and suggestions. Let's do the live analysis for this week. All right, so let's start with euro US dollar. We've had the NFP as we've seen the euro trending lower over the last couple of days, but we know the structure that we are following here. Let's look at that structure first before we go through the rest of the US dollar pairs. And I'm going to switch this off here. So the structure we are looking at on euro is there's 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and we expected this to be a 3-wave move to the downside. If you look at this on the daily, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we have made the first one. we are expecting a B. So the B is what we'll be looking at in the next week. So we've got a WXY corrective structure. So the NFP results have come to complete these 5 waves in this leg. Let's look at that leg. In this leg here, this leg has completed in 5 waves. You will see that in the 4 hour. And now we're expecting a 3-wave structure. The 3-wave does not have to be a zigzag. It can be any corrective structure. So I'm going to go to the 4 hour and we're going to look at this. Let's go to the 4 hour. Now, if you look at the 4 hour, as I've indicated earlier on, this is 3 waves. These are 3 waves. Now, we have completed 5 waves on this one here. How did we complete the 5 waves? You'll see with the structure 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Now, all of that makes an A. Okay, makes an A here as follows. So this is a W, this is an X, this is a Y. This is going to be an A. This is going to be a B. And we're going to get a C. And that C will be the end of the corrective structure. So what do we expect in the next week? In the next week, we're going to be expecting that this corrective structure forms here. So we will expect euro to pull back to about 50% of the initial move before we make a move to the downside. Let's see how that's going to play out. That is what we're looking at on euro US dollar. So we are currently here, expect a move to the upside as follows. So we're going to be expecting this to make a bounce. Right, so that is euro DXY is the inverse of the euro. So we'll be expecting the same as the DXY pulls back. We'll be expecting euro to pull back to the upside. Okay, so that is what we have on the DXY. It's the same structure as you can see. Same structure. We just want that 3-wave pullback that we've seen on the euro US dollar to happen on the DXY as well. Let's see what pullback we're going to get here, but we still expect continuation to the upside. Right, so that's euro and the DXY, pound US dollar. Pound US dollar has also completed 5 waves to the downside in this structure. Okay, so you can see here we've got 3 waves down, we've got 3 waves up. We've completed the first leg. We're expecting the pullback in B, and then we're expecting the third leg here as follows. So again, just like euro US dollar, we'll be expecting pound to pull back up to about 50% of that leg, and eventually the bigger structure will be WXY structure there. Right, so excuse me writing with the same letters. It is different degrees. This is actually lower degree than the WXY there. So it should just be A, B, C here. So we'll be looking for this to give us a B structure. That is pound US dollar. US dollar chief tracks the DXY. So it is no surprise that we will expect US dollar chief to give us a pullback in 3 waves. So notice that I'm showing just a zigzag, but it can be any corrective structure. It can be a flat like this. So any structure that builds up here, then we'll get the moves, continuation moves to the upside. All right, US dollar CAD, since bouncing from the 120 multi-level, multi-time frame critical level here, we have made a move to the upside here. We're expecting 1, 2, 3. We have expected that for a while now, and we'll expect this to continue to the upside. That is US dollar CAD. So the strength of the weakness of the short-term weakness of the US dollar should result in that pullback on the US dollar CAD. All right, now we've got AUD US dollar. AUD US dollar, is it complete? Is it going to make a move to the upside? Because this is still missing quite a bit to get to the blue box, but that's fine. So are we going to see here a 3-wave move here, pullback? So we want to see if we're going to have that pullback as we will see on euro US dollar. Okay, whether this is just going to be a pullback or a continuation to the upside will remain to be seen. But for now, we are going to look to trade this back to about 50% of the whole move. Right, so that is US dollar, AUD US dollar, New Zealand US dollar. So New Zealand is pulling back already with a structure like this. So we are going to expect a similar move to that. So New Zealand is clearly incomplete, but AUD looks complete. Right, so let's have a look at New Zealand. Why am I saying New Zealand is incomplete? New Zealand is incomplete because we've got 3 waves there, we've got another 3 waves there, but this has just gone on to take this level here. There is no structure in wave theory that looks like this. So New Zealand will likely look something like this. So that pullback that we're expecting on the other US dollar pairs should be a structure like this. And then we get this to complete. Then it will be complete with 3 waves, with 3 waves, with 3 waves. So let's see what we're going to get with this pullback up to around 50% here on all these pairs. US dollar ZAR tracks US dollar CAD. So it's no surprise that we see US dollar ZAR making a pullback. We would expect a 3-wave pullback, also around 50%, and then continuation to the upside. Getting to the pound pairs, pound US dollar, rather pound yen. So pound yen, we have had this pullback, we've had this impulse, and we've had this 3-wave pullback here. So this is the pullback that we had. This is the impulse that we had. After this impulse, we made what looks like a 3-wave pullback. Now, this is the structure that we have now. Is this going to push to go and retest this level here? Or is it going to make a structure like this? The current scenario that I'm drafting now looks the more likeliest to play out, because that's what the indicator is showing us. I do not see this breaking out of this structure. I see this one coming at least back down to this level. If we're going to get a bounce there, then we're going to see more downside, probably to even retest it. What will that do? That will make a structure like this. And in that case, the structure will complete as follows. Then we have A, B, C corrective structure. So we will be tracking this wave for wave. For now, we don't have this confirmation. As much as this one looks like a flag, it does not look like it's got the momentum to break it to the upside, or at least the indicator is not confirming that for us. Now, US dollar yen, you all know the structure that we've been looking at on US dollar yen. We have been looking for this to come and take this high here and make a pullback. But this looks like a diagonal here. Now, if that is a diagonal, it means that we are not necessarily going to expect this structure. Rather, what we're going to expect is that this is all the correction. This is the start of the move to the upside. It's an ending, is either an ending diagonal, and we're going to get a pullback. And if we're going to get a pullback here, that means we're going to have continuation to the upside. So we, just like the DXY, you can see this is one tracks the US dollar, that is the US dollar yen. So we may be getting that pullback that we're expecting on the DXY, the pullback that we're expecting on US dollar CHF, and the inverse on Euro US dollar as well. So look out for a 3-wave pullback here, at least back to around this level on US dollar yen. Euro yen, again, most of the yen pairs that we wanted to see push higher. Remember, the yen pairs track the dollar index mostly. So we will be expecting this. So we wanted to see this continue to the upside, but what we are getting is we've got an impulse, we've got what looks like a 3-wave structure. So we are going to see a 3-wave pullback here on the euro, and we'll expect the same thing on CHF yen. As much as CHF yen looks a bit strong for more upside, because of the rest of the yen pairs, we're going to expect CHF yen to give us this pullback. Eventually, we may get a structure like this before we push to the upside, where we're going to get A, B, C corrective structure, and then more upside. Okay, so that is our CHF yen. So expect a bit of a move to the downside as follows. So that is what we're going to expect there. All right, CAD yen. Right, so CAD yen, we are expecting a bit of a push to the upside here. Check this top. Possibilities are for this structure to do that and then continue to the upside. All right, so that is what we are looking at on CAD yen. All right. New Zealand yen. New Zealand yen, the same. We had the strong impulsive moves. We've got a pullback, 1, 2, 3 up here. We may take the top here, come back down for another move to the upside, giving us this structure, and then upside. Eventually, we're going to expect an A, B, C corrective structure, and then we see more upside. Very clear structures. AUD yen, the same. AUD yen, 3 waves here. We are going to see this continue to the downside, likely to come and retest this low here. If we're going to get a bounce, it's going to make a structure like this. Then it's good. It's an A, B, C corrective structure. We've got a lot of A, B, C structures on the yen pairs. All right, so that is what we are looking at on the yen pairs. Let's go to gold. Gold is the inverse of the yen pairs as far as correlation is concerned. So we will expect a pullback on gold as follows. Let's have a look here on the daily. Before I go to the daily, a couple of days back, we looked at this one to be closing below this on the weekly. So we saw this candle closing like that on the weekly chart. These are 3 waves. This is a weekly chart, by the way. This is a pullback around this level. We are coming down here. We're expecting a pullback here and then downside. I'm going to show you shortly why we're expecting a pullback here. So we've got 3 waves here. We've got a pullback. We have completed 5 waves here. That's why I'm expecting a pullback. Even if that pullback is simply just going to be 3 waves, we're going to eventually expect gold to come down with a structure like this. Then we're going to have something like this on gold. So let's have a look here on gold. All right, let's go look at this. All right, so this is a likely structure in the bigger time frame on gold, but let's go look in the lower time frame. Let's go to the 4-hour and look at what is happening at the current moment. Right, so what we have here on gold, it has made 5 waves to the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So what you're seeing here now is a pullback in 3. Now that pullback in 3 should result in gold pushing lower again. So you can see all the US dollar pairs are correlated as follows. They are pulling back, as you can see here. I see there's a question here. It's a long question. I won't be able to read that now. I will read that out at the end of the webinar, if you can just remind me that. All right, so that is what we're looking at on gold, a pullback. You will see these pullbacks on all the pairs that are paired against the US dollar. Silver, again, the same thing. We're going to be expecting a 3-wave pullback before any continuation to the downside. Brent crude, we've already, or rather platinum first, we've already bounced from the blue box. So this is likely to come and retest the top here. But because this has pulled back so deep, I would expect this to make a flat here. And if it does make a flat and give us a structure like this, that means platinum is not going to go all the way to the upside, and we're going to see one more down. So we're going to be watching this structure for now up to this level, back to about 1120 on platinum. Brent crude, no analysis there. It's just a parabolic move to the upside. Every time you get a continuation pattern to the upside on the 4-hour, you look to take it to the upside. Just be mindful that it is very expensive now. It is too high. We have got 2 setups on Brent crude. We've got it here on the blue box as follows. This is how we focused our blue box. Our blue box was after this 3-wave pullback and a move to the upside. Those that have been watching for a while will remember that we looked at this structure as a diagonal and then making this a 1-2. That is why you see here we are trading wave 3. So we've got the whole of the wave 3 move. That wave 3 is incomplete and is still in play, possibly to about 82. It can still go up there. So if you can just make a fib here, let's just project and see here how far we can still go with oil. Let's see how far we can still go with oil. We can still go much higher on oil. We can get up to 80. All right, so that is Brent crude. We'll be looking for this to push even up to 80 or even higher. All right, so that is Brent crude oil. Pound CAD, you already saw this one during trade recaps, that we've been looking for these 3-wave structure to break to the downside. Last week during the live trading room, we looked at this one for a break to the downside, which we already got. So after it has made that 3-wave structure, textbook 3-wave structure really, 1, 2, 3, confirms to the downside. Another entry here with a lower degree 1-hour entry. We are now looking for downside. We're still expecting more downside on pound CAD. Pound AUD. So pound AUD, we have pulled back here. If you've seen pound New Zealand, we expected a pullback here. Let's go to pound New Zealand first before we go pound AUD. So pound New Zealand, you've seen during trade recaps, and then we go through it again. Let's go through the pound pairs. So you can look at pound New Zealand on the 4-hour and see what the forecast was there. That was the B wave, as you can see here. This was posted for members before the move. So we've got the pullback and we're getting the move to the downside. The question is whether this is now going to bounce after the 3 waves, or is it going to continue to the downside? But what we are able to forecast is this move here to the downside. So because pound New Zealand is doing that, we expect that pound AUD will do the same. As much as we've had the pullback here, we don't expect pound AUD to push up higher. So we'd expect this to come down here and follow pound New Zealand. Right, pound CHF, you've already seen this during trade recaps. We've shown this one a couple of times. You can just refer back to the trade recaps. We've got a new entry here. The first entry was here. So we've got 2 trades running on this one with a bigger blue box, and the second one taken live in the trading room in the smaller blue box. We are currently here. It is showing another entry here, but we'll be looking for this to still continue to the downside. Okay, so if we go to the 1 hour, let's have a look here and see if there's a trade setup on the 1 hour. So the 1 hour has shown another 3 wave, but not a clear one. It's not a clean one. It's not a clean Elliott wave structure, but we will look for this to continue to the downside. Okay, you will not be surprising to see this do that to make a decent Elliott wave corrective structure before we make a move to the downside. So don't rush it. If you're not already in that trade, you need to wait for a decent entry. Right, Euro pound. Let's go back to the 4 hour. Now, Euro pound, we expected Euro pound to bounce out of this structure to go and retest this level. Does not look like that is happening, and it's not going to happen in this week because we're going to have a bounce on the pound per se. So let's see this one come and retest this low here. Then we'll expect the bounce from around that level. That is a Euro pound, Euro AUD. Euro AUD will obviously follow pound AUD. So this is 3 waves to the upside. Looks like we are going to get a reversal here. So any entry here for downside, we're going to see Euro AUD make a move to the downside. So keep an eye on that. All right, Euro New Zealand, same as you have seen with pound New Zealand forecast. We went to the pullback. We'll see this one continue to the downside. This one has got a clear structure in that we have got a clear 3 wave structure as follows. So these are the 3 waves that we are seeing here. 3 waves up, 3 waves down, 3 waves to the upside. Although the W, or rather the Y, is slightly shorter than the W, that's fine, that's acceptable according to the rules and the guideline. This can be a move to the downside all the way back to around these levels. We take it 1 wave at a time. We've got a pullback here. Look for another entry when it makes a deeper correction again. That is Euro New Zealand. EURCAD, you also saw this one during trade recaps. Entries during the live trading room here with these 3 wave pullbacks. Here was another entry here, pushing to the downside. We wanted to retest this level. Then the bigger structure would be this 3, and this 3 like that. Then we have a bigger 3, 3, and then upside. So that is what we're expecting here on EURCAD. Right, very clear structures. EURJPY bounced out of what we had forecasted as our blue box at this area, and it is now coming down. Very interesting how this one is developing, because if you look on the monthly chart on this, we may be making a big move to the downside. So we may not necessarily get that move to the upside. With this, it's not going to break, and this could actually be a leading diagonal in which we're going to get a pullback and we're going to get a big move to the downside. Let me just give you a hint on this one. We'll be looking at this to start getting more trade setups to the downsides. Just look at the monthly chart. So if you just look at the monthly chart is telling. But again, you know that you do not trade the monthly chart. This just gives you direction. These are 3 waves to the upside. This is 3 waves to the downside. Let's use a different color. This is 3 waves to the downside. This is 3 waves to the upside. Now, on the monthly, even just to get back to this level, that is almost 1,000 pips, 700 pips on EURJPY. Now, this is where most people won't get it. Won't get where to enter exactly in order to get those 900 pips. So if that happens, if we get the entry, we are going to be looking for those 900 pips. Whether this makes a bounce here and continues to the downside for many more thousands of pips to the downside, doesn't matter. We are going to be trading it 1 wave at a time. And in this case, we're going to look to take it back here. Okay, so that is where we're going to look to take it all the way down to about 0.500 first. And if it's going to continue lower, then that's fine. So we are going to need the indicator to pinpoint for us exactly where to enter this. It does not matter whether these breaks to the downside. The trend lines don't matter. We're not trading the trend lines. We're trading the structures, the waves, confirming with the indicator. Those are the euro pairs. EURJPY will be interesting over the next coming days. Euro New Zealand, rather Audi New Zealand. This should continue to the downside. I am still on the monthly chart. I'm aware that I'm still on the monthly chart. Expect this. So I'm going to go back to the lower time frame now. So in the 4 hour, we are still expecting this to continue to the downside. So we had this continuation to the downside during the week, during the live trading room. We are going to expect these 3 waves to end up around this level, at least around 650. Let's see how that plays out in the coming week. AUDCAD has retested this level. We've been looking for it to retest this level. Do we now get a bounce here with these 3 waves? That is the expectation, that we get a bounce there. I'll be expecting a bounce there on EURCAD. It's not going to be a surprise to see this one breaking lower first and then bouncing up here. That usually happens to give us this structure here on AUDCAD. AUDCHF has also reached the low here around this level, but you will see that the RSIs show very strong divergence around those levels. Okay, so this was the divergence that we've been seeing on the RSI, and with this one here, it has now made this, with this one here internally here, we've got this one here showing that we may get a bounce here out of this structure, at least back to that level. Right, New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD the same, just a bounce here. We'll be expecting a bounce back to around this level. Even around this level, because if you look at the bigger structure, this is what we're expecting. 1, 2, 3. That is the expectation on New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CHF, expect a bounce to the upside. 1, 2, 3. It can even give us a structure like this. So we'll be monitoring these for more upside. CADJPY, last one on the Forex space. Right, so CADJPY, will it push to the upside, or where are we going to get these back around this level? If it does make that structure, that means we've got 3 down, 3 up, and 3 down, and we get a nice entry around this level for more upside. Remember, we already have this structure here on CADJPY, a 3-wave structure. What is happening now is a continuation. After that continuation pattern, we're looking for upside. Right, so watch this structure for entry on CADJPY. That's what we're going to be looking at in the week. Let's look at the S&P 500. I'm going to go to the indices. I'm going to show you some charts on our website here. Let's go to the indices. I'll show you the expectation there. All right, so let's have a look here. I'm seeing your questions on the chat box, guys, so I can attend them now while we're still busy. I can attend them at the end and most likely offline, off the video. All right, so let's have a look here. S&P 500 4-hour. We've been expecting a structure like this. We wanted this wave 2 to be a flat and then a push to the upside, but instead wave 2 simply made a 3-wave structure here. And this is now why the S&P 500 keeps pushing to the upside. We are still expecting more upside. On the NASDAQ, we're expecting more upside. This is a 3-wave structure, and this has made a wave 1 with a leading diagonal here, a pullback. We're still expecting the NASDAQ to play out 5 waves for that blue wave 5. Right? That is the NASDAQ and the Dow. Let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial. So the Dow Jones Industrial, as you've seen, we expected these 3 waves from here. It has already played out. When it broke out of this structure, we said we're going to have a trade setup, and the trade setup is already in play for more upside on the Dow Jones Industrial. Right? UK 100, the same. We also forecasted this structure here. So we've got a pullback here. Initially, we were looking at the whole thing as a red wave 4 and a push to the upside. That is another alternative. It does not change the bias. So what we have here now is simply a wave 4. This one starting with the leading diagonal as follows: 5 waves here, 1, So this is 5 waves. That will be green degree. This will be the green degree here. Let's use the green so you can see clearly. So you've got 5 waves there in the leading diagonal. So you're going to be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 within the green to complete that for those 5 waves. All right, so that's what we have on the UK 100. The DAX. So the DAX, we took the trade from right here in the blue box. It has been pushing up higher since. So we are now looking at this as a diagonal. I'm going to get the purple color. In the minute degree, that's the diagonal. We expected this to pull back and continuation to the upside. That has not played out as yet. We are still here. We want to see if we're going to get that drop before we push to the upside. That is the DAX. All right, now the Nikkei. Nikkei is giving us a setup here for more upside after this pullback. So it's giving us this corrective structure here. We want to see if it's going to give us more upside. And lastly, we will look at the Nifty, which is not listed on the website. Before we go to the Nifty, just to give you the structure on the Nikkei. So the Nikkei here, that is the corrective structure I was showing you on the Nikkei. This is what we will expect for the Nikkei to break to the upside. And lastly is the Nifty. So the Nifty is still pulling back with this corrective structure. So we are still expecting that the Nifty can eventually get to this level and then push to the upside. That's all I have for you this week, guys. Trade responsibly. We will have the crypto webinar shortly after this. You can check it out on the channel as well if you're not watching this live. So the crypto webinar is up next. If you like what we do, guys, please drop us that subscribe to the channel. Also hit the alert notification button so you can get a notification the next time we upload a video. And we appreciate your likes on the video. Then we can see that you're liking what we are doing, and we can give more content. Have a great week, everybody, and trade responsibly. Cheers. Bye-bye.